Life, and today we're talking about the hidden costs of traditional spine surgery. I'm Amanda Armagast.
And I'm Dr. Bossi for Essence. So, Amanda, just a few minutes ago, we were discussing should we put this episode on Essence of Medicine versus Essence of Life? You want to explain how we came to the conclusion to make it Essence of Life and not Essence of Medicine?
Well, I can say the reason I was thinking that it should be Essence of Life, and that's that spine surgery is expensive, and everyone knows that. And I think that sometimes having spine surgery or surgery in general, the idea of the burden that it's going to put on you is what holds us back. So a lot of times, for example, I have a friend who was putting off her surgery for a long time, not because she was afraid of her surgery, and it wasn't spine surgery, it was something else, but because she was afraid of the aftercare. She was afraid of, first of all, taking the time off of work to recover because it wasn't a minimally invasive surgery the way we do now, where the patients are out the next or the same day. She was out the same day, but her recovery was really long because it was kind of an invasive area. And so she was, first of all, afraid of taking the time off of work and the burden that that would do to her and her job. But second of all, after, because she lives just her boyfriend and she does all of the cooking at home and she takes care of the cats and everything like that. So after,
is that the friend that you cooked all that food and prepared for the whole week? I want to give you some credit for that. You were cooking all week, preparing meals for the whole week and so on. Is that the friend?
Yeah, she's my closest friend.
Yeah.
So to prepare, I made her 5 different meals, 4 portions each, so she would not starve to death because her boyfriend doesn't cook. He cooks a little bit, but the point that I'm making is sometimes not the idea of having surgery, but the idea of caring for yourself.
She needed friends. She needed
support.
you. Yeah. She needed support to go through that surgery because it's not all about the medical part.
Exactly.
It's about the entirety. It's about the life. So that's why we decided this should be episode of Essence of Life, not Essence of Medicine.
Exactly. And it wasn't just the meals either. She had to have her sister come and clean the house before and then during recovery and everything. So there's a lot of things that I think the norm. What are you laughing at?
I need to have a conversation with that boyfriend first.
He does other stuff, but he's a good guy. But anyway, so I wanted it to be life because I think that surgery has a big impact on our normal life.
Now, well, give you another example, and I have hundreds, if not thousands, of these examples that a patient of mine, an elderly, otherwise in good health, but practically the children had to take turn in taking time off to do basic things like buying grocery, cleaning the house, checking on her, because she just couldn't do that. She couldn't walk. I mean,
and that was before surgery.
That was before the surgery. And I have actually a testimonial of her and the son that the children now, they have to call her, make sure she's home before they go visit her and they're not used to it, like.
She's out and about.
She's out and she's able to walk again. And it's not only about, that her life, it's about as well the life of the children now.
Exactly.
That truly has been impacted in a positive way, that they don't have to be concerned if she has enough to eat. Or let me give you another example. Another patient of mine that 3 other surgeons refused for good reason. The surgery was too dangerous. They refused to do surgery for her. She lost about 40 pounds in about 3-4 months because she could not walk to
she couldn't walk to the kitchen
to make food. And she told me something that is very actually, it's saddening, that she went to the door. She couldn't just hold herself. She fell down and she couldn't, literally move back to the bathroom for 4 or 5 hours until somebody just came and helped her to move from the door to bed. Now, for a young person, somebody who doesn't have this problem, this is unimaginable that you cannot go to kitchen to make food for yourself.
Right.
But your friend now understand what that means. She, without you, I mean, if she could have made food for herself, she would have done it. She wouldn't need your help. There are certain situations, and she's not old, she's your age.
Yeah.
So But for lots of people who have not been in that situation, that's unconceivable that you are in a situation that you cannot go from your door to your bedroom or go to kitchen make yourself food because your body limits you to that extent.
And another reason why I wanted it to be life is because I think that a lot of times we with medicine it's all numbers and
Hmm.
facts. But one of the reasons like we have the title hidden costs of traditional spine surgery. I
Hmm.
think another hidden cost of traditional spine surgery isn't even a well I mean it is, but isn't a monetary or the people directly around that person. But imagine a lot of your patients that other doctors say no because with
Hmm.
traditional spine surgery anesthesia can't help them or something
Hmm.
like that, and it has a huge toll on their mental health. They become actually suicidal.
Now, well, we just had that patient recently. That patient is a high BMI, and obviously, I have proven that we can help those patients. It's not a technical problem on our side, but as well, that patient need to be put sleep for anesthesia, and it is hard to find an anesthesiologist who is willing to put that patient to sleep with that high BMI. They need additional resources, and certainly they are doing the right thing. They want to keep the patient safe, but they don't see the other side of the equation.
Yeah.
If that patient who told us, if this is life, if that's all left for me, I don't want to live. And he wasn't just threatening us, he's just making a statement about the status of his life at this point. So you see, obviously, all these doctors, surgeons, anesthesiologists are good people. They want to do the right thing,
They have the right interest.
but they don't see the other side of the equation. That many of these patients in the United States that we say patient overdosed and so on, they're committing suicide. There's nothing left for them except for months, years, sometimes just pain, not being really being part of the life of their family or community or friends. They lose friends, they lose
They're
family,
isolated.
and that's all what's left for them. And they choose, they sometimes passively, but sometimes actively committing suicide by just. I had a patient who was telling me every period of he was taking this prescription for medication, he was putting certain number of those medication aside to gather those pills to commit suicide. And this is where we are. Now, spine problem, we looked at the statistic. By the time you are my age, there's only 30% you don't have spine problem. By the time you are 60 years old, there's only 5% you don't have spine problem. By the time you're 70 years old, there is only 1 to 2% chance you don't have spine problem. Obviously, not all of them need our technology and so on, but that percentage is increasing because there are more people are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s these days. And I think there is a huge neglected group of patient people there that the traditional ways are leaving behind. Now,
Right.
every time I see on LinkedIn one of those LinkedIn warriors that they say, what about lordosis and so on and so forth? They don't see that patient standing in the kitchen trying to make food for themselves, where the picture is not to their liking, but that patient can eat now.
Right. So to put it into layman's terms, sometimes you post a picture of a patient's spine online, and instead of caring about how the patient is feeling, the other doctors are worried about the angle that the
Yeah,
spine is at. But
yeah.
like you say, a lot of times these patients are 86 years old. So does it really matter the angle, or does it matter how they feel
And
and
as
what their quality of life is?
yeah, as a matter of fact, now you see there are certain things in medicine they become from some assumption then become a dogma. No, we understand like how the X-ray look like is important, and we understand especially from young people who, by the way, the word orthopedy meaning making a child straight. Ortho meaning straight, like orthogonal thing views and so on, or pediatric or children, because we know a lot. Some of these children they have the side bending of the spine, scoliosis, and then, as a matter of fact, the sign for orthopedy is a tree that you bind it you sort of they wrap it around a straight line. The tree wants to be on not straight, but you want to put it around the straight thing to make it straight. So um, from those children, we know you have to pay attention to those details because these children have to live like 30, 40, 50 years with that spine. And we know if you don't pay attention to that, then in 40 years or 30 years, they're going to be in a really bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine some people who are so ideologic, so dogmatic about that, they apply the same kind of thing to a 70-year-old that or 80-year-old person who's not going to live 40, 50 years and make the same assumption, make the same kind of thing about that, and then expect that those same thing apply. Now, we now understand now, even they understand now, those parameters are age related. So you cannot apply the same numbers and so on. But let me just tell you what the consequence of that is being so dogmatic about those numbers. The only way you can apply those numbers is doing 4 times more surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cannot do 4 times more surgery, you tell the patient, go live with it.
And an 86-year-old really can't go through 4 times more surgery. They can't be under anesthesia for so long.
They cannot go through even that surgery, not even 4 times more. They cannot even go through that surgery because those surgeries are made for children or young people who have lots of resources. The heart is young, the lung is young, the bones are young, and we know children heal faster.
Yeah.
Now, you apply not even 4 times more, not that patient, I corrected 2 or 3 level scoliosis, and they say the angle is not corrected. Well, to correct that angle, you have to do 3, 4 times more surgery. But more importantly, even that surgery in that form, patient was rejected. Patient was rejected by 3 other surgeons. So their answer is not really, oh, you didn't do when it comes to that, it's not that, oh, you didn't correct the angle. The true answer is, don't do that surgery. Tell the patient like we did, go live with it. And the answer to that is many of these patients don't go live with it. They go and die with it.
Yeah, and I think that another really big issue with this dogma where surgeons aren't picking up on new procedures and then stigmatizing the newer procedures is, and this is an experience I've personally seen, that a lot of times these older patients will say, no, I'm not going to have spine surgery because I can't do that. I'm too old. I can't handle that. So then, for example, my grandma, she fell and she hurt her hip. She literally, I'm not exaggerating, could not get up to go to the bathroom. So instead of going to PT, going to the doctor, she's scared of surgery. She's scared of spine surgery. Her friends have had traditional spine surgery and had a terrible recovery. She just sat there and suffered. And she's still suffering. And actually, no offense, but now we kind of all are, because we can't go out with my grandma. We have to sit at the house because she's in too much pain.
And it is not just the momentary effect of that. We know human body, especially in elderly, if you don't walk, your body shuts down.
Yeah.
Your heart, your lung, your functional capacities, they all go down, and they go down rapidly. Like I can tell you that literally when I had some joint problem, I was a child, I had a broken bone. They didn't really treat me medically, and I couldn't walk. I was a child. I couldn't walk for just a month or 2. Then it took me 6 months back to go back walking on that foot. And it was a horrible experience even for a child. Now imagine for an elderly who quit having a regular activity.
Yeah, and imagine
they don't recover from that. Yeah.
The mental burden that it has too for her. And I really think that if more surgeons were doing like the newer procedures, less invasive, she wouldn't be so afraid to go to the doctor and to get looked at.
Well, I cannot comment on all fields in medicine because I have no expertise in hip and joint and some area, but I can consider myself a very good judge of these kind of disease in the spine, still 75% of the surgeries in the United States are performed the traditional way, which is good. This is what we do. But that leaves a lot of patient behind that wouldn't be a candidate. As you know, about 30% of our patients are patients who have been rejected by other surgeons. And that is getting interesting now. Now, so that means 25% of them are performed in a minimal invasive new ways of surgery. But even those patients, those surgeons who perform that new minimal invasive way are thinking the only thing should be done just their way.
Exactly. They want to be the special. I know exactly who you're talking to. Some people, they want to be the specialist. They want to be known for that. But why don't you be known for teaching the most people? Why don't you be known for making a huge change in medicine? Because if you could teach 100 surgeons this procedure, 2 surgeons per state, think about how many people you can help.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably easier to go to LinkedIn than just put a comment on somebody else's how you would have done it better.
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest thing to do than literally, like I remember just recently, I put a case out there, a patient that you know who I'm talking about, had a scoliosis, has a severe back problem, and had a heart problem, artificial valve, that literally cardiologists say, you cannot have him off anticoagulation. And we know with anticoagulation, blood doesn't clot easily, meaning that if you do a big surgery, you bleed and die.
Yeah.
And this patient with the heart situation cannot be off the blood clot medication for too long, meaning that the options are really limited. And this patient's back was twisting and bending in so many different ways that, open surgery would have been better, but it is not an option. 3 or 4 other surgeons actually rejected the patient. And patient told me, if I die, I die. I cannot live like this. So we went and did the surgery, and I did the best I can do. And I put just the films out there for the medical community. And the thing was, let's come for 1 hour, talk about this patient. And mostly we talked about why this patient would have needed a open traditional surgery, why minimal invasive in this case would have been, but why we could only do minimal invasive, and so on and so forth. Now, somebody, one of these LinkedIn warrior, just took a screenshot of my thing and went out there, and all the buddies coming about tapping their own shoulder about how much better they would have done. Not a single question, how was the patient doing? What was your thought process? Not a single of them showed up in that meeting, that case conference.
Why would they? They already have their own opinions.
Yeah, but then I just had to add it that, by the way, this is the patient. His life is changed. He can walk now. He gained weight. He can walk now and go for
they can have his life back. He's patient, not suffering every day.
And now, even though the situation is not perfect, but this is what we could give to this patient. This is what patient understood that what the situation is, and that patient is, by the way, one of the happiest patients now. And and I told to the same surgeon who was just putting it out there after I put the 6-month result out there. He was saying, well, I'm happy patient is doing well, but I'm still thinking this is not the right surgery and so on. Well, and my thing was, for you is a LinkedIn comment. For me is a profession. I put my professional reputation for this patient. I'm taking a chance with the patient, taking a risk on my personal professional thing, whereas for him it's just a LinkedIn comment.
Yeah, and we all know how fast things can go poorly too.
Yes,
when you take chances
medicine
like
statistic. That. The question is, 9 out of 10 times when a surgeon in a complex situation tell to the patient it's risky, they don't only mean it's risky for you, they mean it's risky for me. We know that now that based on lots of studies, surgeons have stopped taking care of complex cases. helping patient that really need help. They want to, I have a joke when I go to the hospitals, I say, well, we just want to take care of healthy patient, right? Well, but why would healthy patient need our help?
Everyone deserves to like, even this patient, you're saying that for you it's a serious thing, for
Hmm.
this other guy it's just LinkedIn comment. Well, for this patient it's his whole life.
Yeah,
And think about, for his family, it's their whole life too. No one
yeah,
wants to see someone that you love suffering.
yes, and now as well, I should say that the medical legal situation is as well. It's a
It's kind of
horrendous
hostile.
situation. It's a horrendous situation. Like, um, no, um, even that you take care of the patient and they understand everything and so on. Sometimes at least happen, I know it happens a lot in the United States, that you tell them as a doctor, a surgeon, we tell them these are risk versus benefit, and we should let the patient be part of it. If the patient says, I understand that, but I don't want to live with that, I want to take the risk, we should allow them to take the risk. But lots of surgeons don't do that because they know if God forbid something happens, the daughter, the son, the uncle, the cousin
The
who are never
hospital
there,
board
the
probably
hospital
even.
board, that all the people who were never there
Yeah. And they
when
weren't the ones with the pain.
they weren't wanted with the pain, they weren't even there when this patient couldn't go to the kitchen and make food. All those people show up and say how they have been done wrong.
Yeah.
So it is a very complex situation, but I can just tell you, I'm living it. It takes courage to be on your patient's side.
Totally.
Yeah.
But the patients do appreciate that. And I think that another big aspect for the cost in spine surgery is the BMIs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a, you know, uh, for a long time, um, we understood BMI as a choice. Like, um, just get more discipline. And my patient telling me still, the doctor just came in and just literally walked away. I mean, imagine that's still happening.
Didn't you have a spine patient one time? I think you know where I'm going, where the doctor walked in and said on the computer, "This is the piece of bread and this is the piece of lettuce. What do you think you should be eating?"
Yeah, advice, just no, not surprisingly, these are mostly, young, healthy, it, skinny doctors who themselves never had problem with that. Like,
Well, because now we're learning that a lot of weight issues are hereditary. It's
genetic, and there's a lot of genetic body shaming.
Mhm.
I'm really happy about that in the last 10 years we have this word body shaming,
Yeah.
meaning that people who are genetically, and yeah, you think it's all the lettuce you're eating, but 80% of what what you are is your genetic.
Yes.
Like, I have a lots of friends, and some of them, they eat like, there is no tomorrow. They eat for the apocalypse, and they cannot gain weight. Doesn't matter how much they eat, they cannot. And then you have another person like, maybe me or somebody else, who just look at water, we gain weight.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
I think sorry, but another big part of that is just the way that life is set up in the US.
Mhm.
It's not really set up in a healthy way. Like, we're working a lot. We're under a lot of pressure. It sometimes is hard to get to the gym or hard to do your extra activities to lose weight. And it's not a walkable community. We're not programmed to be exercising. We're programmed to drive. I drive 1 hour a day.
Yeah. See, we need to stop looking at obesity as a life choice. We need to
Yes.
look at it as a disease it is.
Yes.
And when we shift our thing, then you cannot just go and just righteously tell to the patient they should quit eating, especially to the patient who cannot even walk. They cannot walk. How are they going to be able to lose weight? Now, this happens a lot, that doctor goes, sees the patient and says, oh, you need a surgery, but go lose 200 pounds, then you come back. What they do, they go and gain another 100 pounds, and then either commit suicide, or they succumb to the cardiovascular issues
Exactly.
and so on. But you see that there, Is it safe for the patient? Absolutely not. Is it safe for the surgeon?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But
Because
is it safe for the like at the end of the day, this is what I was trying to get to. Is it safe for the country?
well, let me tell you in two perspective or three perspective why this attitude is not safe for the country. First of all, obviously the mental demise of our society, that there's a group of people we can help but we don't,
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of tears everybody down. Number two is that those people, we don't help them with the surgery. We are not, I mean, at least in our society, mostly, we are not going to let them die. We have to spend 3, 4 times, sometimes 6 times more resources, like that patient elderly, that the family had to take time off. Like they would literally rotate to take time off to look after their mother. Or in this case, in this case, when somebody, if they don't have family, then the state, the government, the insurance, they have to spend more resources. So it is draining our resources even more, because for a person who cannot go to the kitchen and make food for themselves, we have to hire 3, 4, 5 people to make their life at least livable to minimal degree.
But not only that, I think that like the US is known for having a lot of obese people. Like we're
Mhm.
known for being a big country. So why as an American doctor are you comfortable to say no, I won't do that because of your BMI, instead of saying I realize that I have the statistics right here in front of me. 9.4 to 12% of the US population is obese, over 35 BMI. So they would not qualify for surgery. So why, as an American doctor, are you okay to say that this entire population should not have surgery, instead of saying, what can I do? What courses can I take? Who can I learn from?
I'm actually surprised that number is so low.
I was surprised too. That's why
Yeah.
I actually used two different sources to look at it. I thought it would be higher too.
Well, no, in our societies, we say we should not do surgery with BMI above 40.
40.
Yeah, and that sort of leave a lots of people behind. And we know that in United States, about 1.1.5 million almost of these surgeries are done. And those are on the people who can get the surgery. So this is a common problem.
Yeah.
The number we are talking is not in thousands, it's in hundreds of thousands of people who can or cannot get help based on just the BMI. And BMI is just one of the factors. Now, even though maybe let's say 8 or 9% of the patient in the United States or population in the United States are in that BMI, when you apply them to people who have spine problem, that's not 8 or 9%.
Oh,
That's all of a sudden, because those patients percentually have more spine problem. So what does it say? About 10% of the US population have BMI above 40. But if you look at the spine patient, probably 30 to 35% of them have high BMI. So it's not a small number at all.
Right. But I'm saying that's dangerous for the country to just
It is.
accept the status quo
Mhm.
and to not expand and
Yeah.
learn.
Yes. Now, another thing that's why it's dangerous for the country, I know lots of high BMI people who are at top of their field. Just because your BMI is high doesn't mean your brain cannot work.
I feel like a lot of people at the top of their field may have a higher BMI because they're not focused on their body.
Lifestyle, yeah. And all of a sudden, you take many of these very productive people, you just exclude them for what they can, from them contributing to our country. They become dependent and draining the resources of the country. And let's come back to that. I gave this talk about what we do to Blue Cross Blue Shield here in Minnesota. And the chief, one of the vice president of the company was understanding the situation, was saying, yeah, we know that when they cannot get their spine surgery, when they're refused, because they look at the numbers, 6 months later, a year later, they have to get the triple bypass heart surgery, which is 5 times more expensive. We pay $600,000 to $700,000 for the triple bypass surgery because they couldn't get their spine surgery a year before or so. That's one thing. And then so those numbers are staggering considering, and that wasn't really including the peripheral cost to our society, which is that this person could contribute if we just make them pain free, so they can walk and go back to work rather than just being limited the way they are. So it is a lifestyle change that happens with it, when the spine doesn't work. The numbers are staggering,
Yeah.
and there is a way to help them. And the travesty is here that there is a resistance in some established in the established medical community, device, especially device company. I blame a lot of things on this device company.
Me too.
They are making a lot of money on the way the things are done now, and the same way you weren't even alive, but we invented the electric cars in 1990s.
Mhm.
EV1, EV2, General Motors, Chevy, they made that, but it wasn't fitting our thing. They literally took all the cars and destroyed it. But the war didn't stop. It went to China, into Korea, to Japan. And the other day, I was in a parking spot. There were four the RAV4, the
Toyota hybrid.
Toyota hybrid RAV4 in one spot. They should have been Fords and GMs and
The
American cars.
Toyota RAV4 is the number one most sold and most reliable car in the U.S. market right now.
Yeah. So they gained on us. Okay. So there is a reason Tesla, even though by volume is not really providing much number, that Tesla's values overpassed all the other companies together, car companies together, because this is the future that we are depriving ourselves of. Now, the sad part is, by number of the cars sold, Tesla is a minimal. BYD, a Chinese car, is the
Tesla is not even a top performer compared to the Chinese cars.
well, you know why? Because they jumped on the opportunity, whereas we, based on the car companies and the oil companies, we gathered all our EV cars that we produced it first. We literally destroyed them. We literally, people wanted them. People they were excited about that. The General Motors, they got it from them, send it all to one location, physically destroyed them all, so it doesn't become a danger for the establishment of how it was done. And again, you see that. Now, I'm wondering, as a country, how long can we do that before we become irrelevant?
Well, now you're making me think of India. Again, I know we talk about India a lot, but this is a perfect example. You went to India we're in 2025 now. You went to October of 2023 in India, and you didn't even give them the intellectual property. They saw it, and then they tried copying it. So they don't even wait on they see an opportunity and they're going to take it. They're not waiting for, is this good, is this bad? And then by the second time you went there, so many people were doing it, and now they have all the intellectual property, and now they're just excelling.
We gave it to them because it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
But as well, we are trying to establish that here. That is where we wanted to have it. Okay,
but we've been trying to establish that here since I started.
Well,
and I just think that, going off of what you're saying, I think there's a lot of ego here, and it's slowing down doctors. Where in India, they just want to be in charge. They want to be ahead of the game, and so they're taking over it.
It is according to the numbers and based on observations. What we do is the fastest growing spinal fusion technology in entire India. I think that I'm still optimistic about us here.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is nothing unusual about being skeptical about the new thing and so on. And we have a good education system. The problem is only that our education system doesn't teach it yet. And there is a huge incentive of these device companies to push what they want to sell, not what's really good for the patient. But I think we are at the moment now that the dam will be broken and we are going to take ownership of that. I'm very optimistic about that. Doesn't mean things will come easy. But again, the title of this uh, podcast is Essence of Life,
Hidden cost.
Hidden Cost. The hidden cost of spine is that all the birthdays you are going to miss, all the families that go broke and they get divorced because people become different when they are not taken care of.
Pain, or the definition, the term pain-gree. When you're in
Hangry.
pain and it makes you angry.
Yeah, and as well, a lots of patients, a lots of people who we see, they literally cannot do anything positive, not to themselves, not to the family, not to their work, not to the country, and they become drained. And many of these patients, they feel that. They say, I'm just a burden. I hear that a lot. I'm
I
a
hate that.
burden to everybody. I don't want to be like this. It's not who I am, and so on. And then that the sad part. Many of these patients, they just get parked in some place with pain medication, which practically make them zombies, like zombies. And then we blame them to be pain seekers, and we push them to that corner, and then blame them to be there, and that's really what's happened. This is the true hidden cost of it, the human cost of um, stagnating.
Yeah.
And that's what we have been doing in spine. We have been stagnating. Now, definitely, I think we have a lot of opportunity there now. And I'm not even talking about that we can reduce the risk of infection to 1/20th of open surgery. I'm not talking about that we can cut the blood loss in 1/10, send the patient home same day instead of 3 days in the hospital, make a 1 year recovery to 2 months recovery. I'm not even talking about those are direct actually saving cost or benefit of going that direction. Here we are going to talk about indirect cost that is quite tremendous.
And I think we've covered most of them. Is there anything you think we're missing?
No, I think we covered them pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. This was Essence of Life, and we talked about the hidden cost of spine surgery. I'm Amanda Armagost.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence.
Have a good day.